Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'm having a conversation this evening with Kurt Roskoff from Wisconsin. I've got it right. Good evening, Kurt. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day. Great to be on Zoom with you doing this recording. This is great.
Yes, yes. Yeah, my little chit chat. So I'll start off with my question, and my question is, what is it you enjoy when you're not working?
When I'm not working, well, we do have a pet, so we do like to get away from these computers and
Oh,
go
yes.
for a walk and do the thing. Sometimes when we can to travel, our great travel destination is we like to go by lakes, and there's kind of an undisclosed, not well kept secret that I like to water ski.
Oh, is
So
that right?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, my family and I, we perform in amateur water ski shows, and so that's our big pastime. And we're actually doing it yesterday, in fact, and we'll be doing it
Ah,
tomorrow.
and tomorrow.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the heavy water ski season going on right now for
So,
Wisconsin. For Wisconsin, a lot of water skiing going on right now.
right. So, is there a season for all different states then when it comes to water skiing, how does it work?
Yeah, well, here in Wisconsin, the water can freeze, the lakes
Of
freeze, so it's
course.
a little difficult to water
Yeah,
ski in Wisconsin,
the ice
and
skating.
yeah, so when you're talking January, February, and the lakes are frozen, a little tough, but
Yes,
it
of
gets me
course.
thinking about my family and I were featured in a magazine,
Yeah.
and it was for their fall publication. So people are reading it in fall, and then so you're essentially in this fall publication sending them into the winter, type of thing. So what they did is they had us in their studio and they had us put on a winter cap. All three of us were wearing winter caps.
Yeah.
My wife and I stood next to each other, and this was when my daughter was about 6 years old, maybe seven.
Yeah.
So she stood on her shoulders for this photo opportunity. We had our ski ropes,
Yeah.
out tethered to a pole, and we were giving the illusion that we were out there
Yes.
water skiing. And then they used um, the computer generated, photo alterations.
Yeah.
So they put us out there on a frozen lake of Wisconsin with our water skis. So it was like we are going into ice, but as we were plowing through the ice, it was clear, uh, liquid
Well,
water
yeah.
lake behind us, type of things. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
My wife and I were carving the way, and we were, out there getting a tow, and you know, it didn't show how we were being towed, but it must have been like a snowmobile or something. Otherwise, I don't know what the machine would have been pulling us, but
Yes. Oh dear. So, so do you have leagues, teams? How does it, tell me how it works?
well, you happen to be talking to someone like you say in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin, USA is the show ski capital of the world. So, and the history is that Tommy Bartlett, that did a lot in Chicago and Illinois, also did most of what he did in life through Wisconsin, and he attached himself to the World Fair and was able to do so because he grabbed onto water skiing doing traveling shows. Now, this is important to get a grasp of the context of where water skiing is so strong here. Water skiing began in Lake City, Minnesota, on Lake Pepin in Minnesota, our neighbor, here in Wisconsin. So, and they've got their set of ski shows that they do in their state. But in Wisconsin, he went around to a dozen different lakes because he created the Tommy Bartlett show, sky, stage, and ski show that for decades served tourism here in Wisconsin in a large way. And he partnered with the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation. So, like I say, he planted a seed at a dozen lakes because he was cultivating the amateur ski talent because he wanted to see who would be the ones to convert to professional. and help him put on the professional ski show in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. So
Right.
through all of this, now we have 33 sites in the
Wow.
state of Wisconsin where water ski shows are performed. And the funny thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that at the Tommy Bartlett site in the Dells, the start had to be on the audience's left and go to the right and around. And the funny thing is that through him being the leader of this all, every water ski show in Wisconsin has that mantra is you start from the left, which in some sense with reading English or whatever, it makes
Yep.
sense. Read from left to right.
Yes.
But that's the only reason all ski shows go from the left to the right is because Tommy Bartlett was building his business, and that's the way it had to be at his site. So all
Right.
sites are built that way today, but that's the enormity of it. So I belong to one of these 33 clubs, teams
Hmm.
that perform these water ski shows, and I've been doing it for 39 years of the 41 years that my club existed.
Wow. That's quite an accolade.
Yeah, yeah. My brother was in it right on the coattails of their first year. And so I was able to watch him water ski, and I was in the audience. And then when he got done performing, I thought, this is silly. Why am I sitting here watching this? I can do everything that I was just watching out of the water. So I joined up next year, and I've been there ever since.
Excellent. It's
Uh,
quite
uh,
a it's obviously quite a, an outdoorsy state in the summer months when you have the water ski. I'm presuming it's summer months that you have it. You wouldn't be doing it at autumn.
Yeah, and to that point though, is our club really is an all year round club because we operate here in the States. We got this thing called the 501(c)(3) organization, and that falls into what our tax code is that there's a 501(c)(3) qualification for a tax break, a write-off on taxes that people
Hmm.
can get supporting our organization. So nonprofit work. So we have to do nonprofit management. So we try to get as much done in the off season as possible, so we can just goof off during the summer as much as possible. And then plus in February, at the end of February, we go into a school, and the school gives us a cafeteria and a gymnasium to go ahead and practice and coordinate and do all of the stuff with the members that were well rehearsed, that when the first Tuesday or Thursday in May is available to go out on the lake, that we're all ready to go. We already know what to do when we can put the
Right.
boats in the water, and we got all the ropes and skis. Everybody knows what to do because we
You've
were
done a dry run in the gym.
yep, in the gym. And we even set up the ropes and everything. So everybody's hanging on the handles. We got people climbing for the human pyramid walls and doing
Wow.
the scrap doubles act, the conventional doubles, and the dance we do on stage, and all of the all the acting, like with our skits and so forth, with our theme. Like this year we're doing ski fari. So we take all of you out on a ski fari, and we're on the search for the golden ski. And to find the golden ski, we got to put together pieces of a map. So it's almost like an escape room type
Yeah.
concept. And so as the acts go on, our characters being members of our team, playing a character of the ski fari, come up with a part of the map. And then obviously with all the pieces of the map together,
Yeah.
now they know right where the golden ski is, and then we present the golden ski, and then all of the issues of the jungle that is our jungle on the lake is all solved. So that's
Wow.
the ending. Yeah.
I Who knew it was such a thing? I mean, that's it. If you're not in that sort of fraternity and outdoor groups, you wouldn't actually know that a lot of that went on because you're not in that sort of circle. But if you are, it sounds as if it's quite a family orientated organization, for want of a I suppose you are an organization, aren't you? Because you're non-profit.
Yep, we're a
Yeah.
nonprofit group, and our group has quite a signature of being kid friendly, kid centered.
Mm,
So we're big as a youth organization, attracting more kids all the time and families. I even had fun this season because I was able to say we have a maternity ward because we have two moms in our club that was expecting. So we have a newborn now, and
yeah.
then we got another mom expecting. So that's the new thing that I have now is we have a maternity ward, and then we've got an old guy in his 70s that he's still barefooting, doing the pyramids and all the thing.
Wow.
I say this guy, this Mike, I'm like, he's a guy that makes geriatrics go like superpower.
Wow.
So we have pediatrics, geriatrics.
Wow.
We got all the decades of life covered, and we what we do. This Elmer, he's 90 years old. This guy, and he's one of our most devoted spectators.
Oh.
Yes, we've got it all across the generations. Yeah,
And did he used to ski?
yeah. He actually has my the the story that was the most riveting for him to tell. His most riveting story is out there slalom skiing,
Yeah.
and he went out on a whip, but he was on the whip, and the boat driver also was taking a big turn of the wheel that he wasn't expecting. So he was already going for a whip, and then the boat put him into a stronger whip that he wasn't anticipating. So it was beyond his ability, and it sent him. It catapulted him,
Oh, God.
to a pier. So he's going to this big fish. I don't know if it'd be like a fishing pier or
Yeah.
a big wood pier with
Oh,
big wood
God.
posts, and there's all these rocks and stuff up,
Oh,
big
no. That's not funny.
missile. And he's looking at this and he's trying to pick the least of it, the battles, like which would be the least painful. And he finds a spot that is just the best he can do. He slips in between these protruding rocks and
Oh,
around the
God.
thing, and he's skidding into there, almost like sliding into a baseball
Yeah.
base,
Yeah.
like in the second base and baseball type of
Yeah.
thing. And he comes up and he gives one of these rocks a big hug, and he's
God.
like nestled in there, cheek,
No.
you know, and that could have been a lot worse. That could have been a life-changing event.
Good. Oh, my
But
word.
he
My
but
Lord.
he ended up like it hurt. It hurt like a bad fall, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But boy,
Good.
it really scared him. And
Yeah.
that's a story that he shared with us. And I like sharing it because I've
Yeah.
never had that type of a risky thing happen quite like that. But yeah, yeah.
So
So a 9-year-old can
how
tell a
old was
story.
he? Sorry, Kurt. How old was he when that happened?
Oh, I'm taking a guess here, but it sounded like a long time ago. So I'm going to say, um, I want to say that could have been 50 years ago. Like he was 40
Wow.
years or maybe 30 some. I got the impression he was in like maybe his 40s, maybe 50 years old
Wow.
top. So at least 40 years ago at minimum is my guess. He didn't really say it, but it
Yeah.
sounded like it.
Wow. I mean that's really quite something. And as you say, it could have been 10 times worse than it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it certainly sounds as if you have some great adventures with this skiing family and your skiing seasons and everybody that takes part. So you've got sort of all ages taking part, and it's great to have something like that families can do together.
yeah, my mother and two aunts performed in water ski shows before I was born and kept doing it until I was about 5 years old. So I have vague memories. I might have been six or something, but I have a vague vision, of the scurrying around and the way my mom had to go out to the boat and she was out on her turnabouts, big skis that,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
are fairly long skis for a trick ski, and then they kind of bow it up like that. and she'd pull up on this rope and then she'd turn around to 180 and then she'd turn around again. And, so my mom would do that turnaround and my aunt would do a ski salute. She'd go out there hot dogging on two skis and she'd kick off it, or no, she would grab a ski off her foot. So then she'd be slaloming.
Oh
So then
gosh.
she'd have the handle and a ski. And then she took the handle and put it behind her ankle or
Oh,
heel. So she was doing a heel hold. She was holding the handle with her heel,
yeah.
and she had her hand
Oh, you frozen?
held at the one ski salute. And she was very popular for that stunt. The
Wow,
one ski salute on one ski holding a ski. Yeah.
that's incredible. Uh, gosh. Yeah. How do you follow that? I mean, you, you can't really.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the business we're in, and my daughter is 16 years old, and she was born into it. My daughter doesn't know, a moment of not being attached to a water ski show. So now,
Wow.
so she's the pre-show director right now. So everything we do leading up to the main show,
Hmm.
she's in charge of the whole pre-show, and we do about
Wow.
7 acts of skiing ahead of the main show. We let all these kids go out and just show almost like weekend skiing type of stuff, out on the water and just get the show going, give the crowd something to look at until the main show goes. Yeah.
That's
So she
terrific.
organizes all that. And then
Wow.
I announce for that part. So I announce up to the main show, and
Yeah.
then this Dan, he takes over for the main show. And then so I lead into our president does the little things of covering some announcements, and then Dan comes on, and then we have our main show that goes for an hour and a half's worth of entertainment after that. So our shows are a couple hours of entertainment.
Wow. Quite a family affair. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and last week we had guests from Chile. I was able to talk to a family from Chile that they're here in the States until they go back to Chile in September. So I was
Wow.
quite honored to be able to talk to them and that they're
Yeah.
traveling over here. And of all the things they could do in the US of A, they chose the water ski show that I'm involved in. Wow.
Well, what a brilliant end to our conversation, that you have families from outside the America, being welcomed in with open arms to get involved.
That's right. Yeah, we're international. We
Yeah,
got the International Water Ski and Wakeboard Federation. So, Carolyn, if you want to water ski, we can get you water skiing over there in the UK.
yeah. I'll pass on that one.
Okay. Just want to make sure you know you're welcome.
I
There you
yeah, I really appreciate that very
go.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Kurt. That it's been enlightening to hear all about the skiing. I was hoping that there were going to be some stories to tell, and there were some stories to tell.
Yeah. And I was just getting started, so we may have to
Oh,
do a.
I'm sure. Oh, dear. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And well, you never know, there could be more stories to tell.
Yeah, we just let the skis fall where they may.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kurt.
You're welcome.